Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the BGR show. And today we're going to be talking about the game that just finished between England and Argentina. What a game! What a game! And it's a shame because England decided to be, well, not even England. I'm going to say Tuchel decided to be Diego Simeone in the second half, and he lost. The game we're gonna talk about today this game, and then we're gonna project into the future because obviously Argentina is playing Spain, and obviously I support Spain, and I thought Argentina would win, but I thought they would win by like one or maybe a 3-2, like a high scoring game. But the game started. Argentina started doing their antics. England tried to reply. Jude, Morgan Rogers, Elliot Anderson, who had a great first half, Elliot Anderson. But the game started in like 2 minutes. Elbows are being thrown around by the Argentine players. And Bellingham got caught by Paredes. And the ref stopped the game for a moment and spoke to both teams. And for the rest of the first half, Giuliano Simeone was on something today. He was going into tackles full speed. At first when I saw him start, I'm like, Almada is not playing. What's going on? And then I saw why he was there. It was a sacrificial lamb, basically. And the game was rough. Nothing was clear. The first 30 minutes, there were no shots on target. I heard the commentator say that was the record for a World Cup game, for there not to be a shot on target in the first 30 minutes. Then the ball started flowing around a little bit, and Julian Alvarez created a chance, shot on goal. Nothing serious happened in the first half. Then the second half commences. And nothing is clear. Argentina had a little bit more quality. Again, Elliot Anderson was having a great game. But Argentina had a little bit more quality, and all of a sudden, a long ball. I don't know, is it Tagliafico or Lisandro who tried to like overhead kick it back? But then it got received by, I don't remember right now who it is. Actually, let me see who assisted the goal. Was it? Yeah, it was Morgan Rogers. He put in a sweet cross, and whoever the Argentina fullback was at the time, it was Molina. It was Noel Molina. He was sleeping, and Anthony Gordon took him over and scored the goal. Then from there, Tuchel decided on the 15th of July, 2026, in Atlanta, Georgia, by the way. He decided that today, because we're in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta Stadium, the spirits of the Georgia Bulldogs took him over. Because if you know American football, college football, you know that the Georgia Bulldogs 5-6 years ago, they had like almost a dynasty where they had like great defensive players. And in the name of Simeone and Bordalas and Arteta, he decided that he's going to be a compact defensive team after scoring a goal. You scored the goal because you overtook him. Your wingers, Morgan Rogers is not that fast, but he had Reece James behind him. Anthony Gordon is on the other side. He decided that he's going to go back and drop his entire team back like he did against, against Mexico. Now here's the difference. The Mexico game, he lost a player. Kwanzaa had a red card. He left. He decided to defend. Mexico obviously doesn't have a Messi. They don't have a Enzo Fernandez. They don't have a McAllister. They don't have a bench like Argentina had today with Lautaro, with Rodrigo de Paul. They don't have that with Nico Gonzalez. He went back. What happened? The Mexico game, they started crossing the ball. If you follow me on TikTok, I was saying that I don't understand why Mexico was doing so many crosses when you can try another option. They didn't try that. Anyways, they decided to go back, be compact, and be so deep that Messi was running the entire line, taking the ball, coming back, taking the ball, coming back. And the chances started to emerge. And Enzo Fernandez started to check his range. Took a couple of shots, never went anywhere. On the other side, Rodrigo de Paul tried a couple, they got blocked. The other side, Argentina kept running back and front, back and front. And then Montiel came in, Otamendi came in, Rodrigo de Paul came in, Lautaro Martinez came in, and Nico Gonzalez came in. But let's talk about the England substitutes. It was Ezri Konza, it was Dan Burn, it was Nico O'Reilly. Later on, at the 90th minute, it was Ivan Toney and Marcus Rashford. Here's the difference between the two substitutions. When these players came in, the Argentine players, they came in to replace defenders so they could attack. Leandro Paredes left, a defensive midfielder. Nico Gonzalez came in. Rodrigo de Paul came because Giuliano Simeone was on a yellow. And then Gonzalo Montiel came for Noel Molina, but he's a more attacking fullback. And Otamendi came because Lisandro Martinez and Ramirez both had yellow cards. So he had to make sure to lower his chances of getting a red card. And Lautaro came for Tagliafico. But if you look at the England substitutes, Konza came in for Anthony Gordon. Dan Burn came in for Reece James because he got injured. Nico O'Reilly came in for Declan Rice. As legit as Declan Rice. Ivan Toney came in for John Stones at the end, and Jet Spence left for Marcus Rashford. Now here's my issue with this. This experiment of Dan Burn being in the box against Mexico, he cleared everything. That's fine against Mexico. Like I said before, Mexico doesn't have a Lionel Messi. They don't have an Enzo Fernandez. They don't have a McAllister. They don't have a Nico Gonzalez. They don't have a Rodrigo de Paul. They don't have a Julian Alvarez. And they don't have any of these quality players. And you went back. Chances started being created. And Argentina started suffocating them. And England had no other choice but to start booting the ball. And they were doing it. Argentina was coming back. It was getting tighter. Shots were taking. Some of them were blocked. Crosses started coming in. What happened? They had a corner. And they've been doing this routine most of the corners in the game. Messi takes it to somebody and that person places back to Messi. Messi makes sure he's not offsides. And then he tries to cross. If he doesn't feel like crossing it, because most of the English players are taller than the Argentines, he would pass it to somebody and they'll try another option. This time, he passed it back to Enzo. No one closes him down quickly enough. Crazy shot. Does his nasty celebrations on the side, holding his ear like Messi did against the Netherlands in the 2022 World Cup. A couple of moments later, England they're out of sorts. They don't know what's going on right now. They're confused. The rushing, everything is nothing was organized. The entire game, the only time tacticals came in was like tactics actually came in was when England scored and they started to drop and Argentina could run their play. I don't know if they forgot that Argentina had good players because the game was so consistently bad in the first half that they thought that maybe these are not quality players anymore. Is that what they thought? Anyways, they were messing around. McAllister hit the post again. He had a header that he should have scored and he missed. And Pickford had an amazing save. Then he called for hydration break. This is all before the first goal. After Inter scored, 5 minutes later, they were bullshitting again. Excuse my language. He passed the ball. McAllister hit the woodwork on the bottom area. It comes back. Jet Spence is rushing out for the ball. He actually kind of hurt himself there because he never moved the same after that. Messi took the ball, turned around with his right foot. A cross came in. El Toro, Lautaro Martinez, heads it in. And England are out. Now, what can you take from these English players? I was disappointed in Harry Kane the most. He was the one that I was disappointed with the most. Because whatever you want to say about Jude this game, he didn't score. He didn't contribute much to the attack. He was their character. He defended. He covered. He helped people. He replaced people when they left their position. All that. But the fact that Harry Kane was dropping so deep, and this was not a desperate move in like the 90th minute. No, this started in the first half. Spraying balls around. Bro, you are number 9. I understand you are the best number 9 right now. Some people argue I think it's Haaland, but you are a better footballer than Haaland. You can pass better than most midfielders. But don't forget, there's a structure to a team. You can't just break it every time you feel like it. And he kept dropping, and when he drops, it's always Reece James on the side, or it's Jet Spence, who actually had a good first half, actually a good game in general. He started spraying the ball, but there's nobody in the box. When they scored the goal, where was Harry Kane? When England scored, he wasn't in the box. So him dropping, all it did was congest the area more because there's more people in the midfield. Because the people that are doing the runnings are not the midfielders. Elliot Anderson wasn't making a run. Declan Rice wasn't making a run. Neither was Jude. It was either Reece James, Anthony Gordon, Jet Spence, or Morgan Rogers. Anyways, they messed up tactically. But I'm not going to even blame the players. I'm going to blame Thomas Tuchel. This guy is one of the best managers of the past 10 years. From Dortmund to Chelsea to PSG to Bayern to now the English team. They say he has his own ways. Okay, fair enough. But when your ways fail, the way you do things when it fails, then you get criticized. It's inconceivable to me that a coach of his caliber, with those players that I'm telling you right now, because at the 55th minute, the midfield was Elliot Anderson, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham. The attackers was Anthony Gordon, Harry Kane, and Morgan Rogers. The right back was Reece James, one of the best right backs in the world. The left back was Jet Spence, one of the best defensive left backs in the world. You had Gahey and Stones, who were having a brilliant game at that time. And then you decided that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play three quarters of the field behind. And I'm going to leave the greatest player of all time, Messi, to decide to run the game. When Inter was running the game, picking the ball from the defenders, it wasn't as effective as when Messi took over. And you let that chance. And before the game started, they asked him, oh, Messi is great, but we're not here to build a throne for him or to congratulate him or to make a ceremony for him. Well, you did. That's what you did. Because you gave him the game. You let him dictate everything for the last, after the hydration break, Messi ran everything. And Argentina scored too. And this is not surprising. You can't tell me, oh, this is random act of football or it's not. No. Against Cabo Verde, they came back when Cabo Verde drew the game. Against Egypt, they were losing 2-0. And they came back. Okay, none of those teams are at the same level as England is, correct. But none of the opponents that England played are at the level of Argentina. And England didn't have a great tournament when it comes to like playing nicely. Against Mexico, they won. They had a red card. Everybody excused it. But remember the Congo game? Do you remember the Ghana game? They didn't have a great tournament. They were at the semis. Good for them. Congratulations to them. But they let themselves down today. Now back to Argentina. The goal took over the game, 2 assists in the last 5 minutes of the 90 minutes. And Enzo Fernandez had a really good game in my opinion. I liked McAllister's game. Always those runs. How does this guy get his head on these balls all the time? How tall is McAllister? Because he can't be anything more than 5'7". He can't be. Or he's actually 5'9". But he gets his heads on the balls all the time. He scored from a corner before in this World Cup. So Argentina overall, the defenders were shaky, but there was a player where Romero had a entanglement and he had a one, like a croqueta basically, but a pass out. And Noel Molina is the only one that didn't impress me very much in this game. I wasn't impressed by him at all in this game. But overall, they won the game. They're through to the finals. It's going to be their second consecutive final in the World Cup. And since this decade started, the 2020s, they've won 2 Copa Americas, a World Cup, and they're in another final. So they've been very successful. But they're going against my team, La Furia, La Roja. And if you follow the news in Spain, the past month and a half, especially the Madrid wing in Spain, have been salivating for this, but there were also ulterior motives behind it because they believe that Argentina was being helped and all that kind of stuff. If the other big teams won their groups, Argentina wouldn't have had an easier path like they did. That's not the important part here. It's going to be Lamine against Lionel Messi. That's not even the worst. Do you guys remember when Spain won the Euros and Argentina won the Copa America? There was supposed to be a game called Finalissima. Never happened because of logistics, basically, and egos. I forgot where it was originally supposed to be played, but anyways, it couldn't play there, and the Spanish FA suggested that they play the game in Spain. And the Argentine president of their FA, the RFA, decided that would be a home, basically an advantage for Spain because we're playing in Spain. Obviously, there's going to be more Spanish people. Anyways, they couldn't come to an agreement, and that didn't happen. And now they're playing in the World Cup final. And my predictions are that Spain are going to win the game. And that's a prediction and a wish at the same time. But I think we are the better team. I think our defense is better than theirs. They have the greatest of all time. I think our midfield is way better than their midfield. And I think the attack is comparable. Even Argentina scored the most goals and Spain conceded the least goals. But it's going to be interesting because Spain's front line, we know Lamine is fixed. We know Yarzábal is fixed. Baena, maybe he starts out of loyalty to him, but I'm quivering on that part. Is he going to start? And I'm thinking, can we not play like a 4-4-2? Like we're going to do like a Pedro Porro, Cucurella, Laporte, and Kubarsi, and in the middle we have Fabian, Rodri, Pedri, and Olmo, and we have Oyarzabal and Lamine in front, play like a 4-4-2. So that's an idea that I have in my head, but I'm not the coach, obviously. But overall, Scaloni hasn't coached very greatly in this World Cup so far. He's been lucky a couple of times, and he's a very emotional manager. He's been successful, but I'm not sure about the emotion. He cries, but Argentina are not gonna. There's no. Y'all thought this game was rough between England and Argentina. Wait for the Spanish team. The English and Argentine argument is about an island, a Falk Island, whatever it is called, or Falkland. That's Malvinas, they call it in Spanish. Wait, Spain actually colonized them, so it's more rooted history there. So this is gonna be because the Argentines are very boisterous. They can be arrogant. And the Spanish consider themselves like a more simmering temper, calm, serene. But Lamine is from a generation where bragging is a thing. And the tension from the fan bases, because the Argentine fans, ever since this World Cup started, have been asking for Spain. And the Spanish responded. And now it's actually going to happen on the 19th in New York, New Jersey. Spain versus Argentina. And the other thing is that when Mbappe plays against England, and if he plays, and if he scores, that counts for his golden ball. I was thinking about this the other day. So if Argentina was to go to the final right now Messi's leading because of the assists. But if Argentina was to go to the final and Messi doesn't score, and Mbappe scores one more goal, he'll still win the golden boot. And that was weird to me. I'm like, shouldn't we not let that happen if you're not in the finals and somebody's in the finals and you have equally the same goals? Shouldn't they win it? But that's a whole different topic. Getting back to the Spain Argentina game, I think Spain is gonna win, and I think the Spanish players have better temperament, and they're calmer than the English players. I think they're not gonna get rattled as quickly as some of the English players got, because Jet Spence wanted to get rid of Giuliano Simeone because he was being so rough on Jet. But the Spanish players are more, how do you say it? They were more successful than the English players as a national team. So obviously they're not going to be as phased. They're probably going to learn how to control their emotions better. And these bullying parts, when they come to them, I think they might be able to, calm it down and use it to their advantage better than the English have been able to. And if you have a midfielder like Rodri and how he's playing right now, it's not likely that somebody would come in there and dominate that midfield. And if you look at if Paredes starts, which I think he will, Paredes, Enzo, and McAllister. But then you think of Fabian and Rodri, and if Pedri plays, or Olmo, but those two are giants against these people. And if Spain plays as simply as they do right now, 2-3 touches, and if we need an outlet, we have Lamine. And if Tagliafico plays that game, either he breaks Lamine's leg or he retires, because I think Lamine is going to destroy him. But my prediction is that it's either going to be, I think it's going to be more similar to how Spain has been this entire World Cup. It's going to be no more than 2 goals, unless Argentina scores and Spain has to score more. I think it's going to be 2 max, and I hope Lamine gets both. Anyways, this was a disappointing second half performance by the English. forceful, encouraging, with a lot of grit. The Argentine did to the English. And on Sunday, it's going to be two countries that couldn't be more different, but one trying to be the other. And with a lot of tension between the fan bases. I'm not sure how much is between the players. And I just hope that the Spanish players, especially the Barca boys, don't lose their concentration by trying to admire the greatest Barca player of all time. And if you think about the full circle moments that are in this game, Pedri was under Messi. Kubarsi idolizes Messi as a Barca legend. Lamine was literally bathed by Messi as a baby. Rodri's coach was one of the people that helped Messi become who he is. Messi grew up in Barcelona. Somebody said, I'm not sure, but I think he has a Spanish passport. He still lives there when he's not playing. So he has a lot of ties to Spain. And in the Argentine team, I think they have like 6 players that have Spanish nationalities. How many Argentine players have Spanish passports? Yeah, I think they Nico Paz, yeah, in the World Cup. Garnacho is not in the World Cup. Nico Paz is from. He's from Canarias, I think. Let's see real quick. Yeah, Nico Paz was there. I think he's the only one that I'm seeing right now, unless I'm missing it. But anyways, Spain are gonna be the favorites, and Argentina, it's gonna be. It's saying here that Messi doesn't have a Spanish citizenship. I guess it was being offered to him in 2005 when they wanted him to, or 4, when they wanted him to join the Spanish national team. Anyways, that's besides the points. Anyways, there's a lot of ties between these countries. A lot of Spanish people immigrated to the South Americas, specifically Argentina, in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s when the fascist government was in Spain. Today, a lot of Argentines live in Spain due to economic opportunities and stuff like that. And there's a lot of ties between the countries. The governments are not getting along right now because Spain has a left-wing government and Argentina have a far-right government and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of political undertones there. However, at the end of the day, this is a football game and it should be treated as such. And I have Spain winning. Which one do you guys have? Let me know, and I'll see you guys soon.